Charles and Maggie walked out to the car and headed for her apartment. They stayed late and were among the last few people to vacate the office. Charles did not want to attract office gossip, so they pretended to be busy until it was late. While on their way, he could not take his mind away from where his life was heading with Maggie. It was just a few weeks. They had gone so far. What will John say if he discovered what is going on with them? What about Becky? But the closer they get to the house, the more careless he feels about the consequences of his actions. After all, Becky had even mentioned she will want divorce if things should continue the way they were going. Though, the last few days seemed she had changed, but he does not care. When they entered the house, neither of them could control themselves. Instead, they started kissing until they ended up on the bed. Charles wished he'd told Becky he was not coming home for the night, but he could not do that. Maggie made him feel the way he never felt for any woman. They had a second moment as she began to complain of the torment of sleeping alone for the night. Then he begged her and left reluctantly. Charles knew things would never be the same again. He had never cheated on Becky and never thought in his whole life that he would find comfort on the lap of another woman outside of Becky. Immediately, it hit him that he had committed adultery. Even though they were having problems, it had never crossed his mind to look for another woman. Guilt flooded his mind as the vows he'd made during his wedding kept coming back to him. He wished he never gotten involved with Maggie. He broke his marriage vow. The thought tormented him beyond the pleasure of sin that aroused him for the past week. As he walked into the house, he wished she had slept so he could shower and silently crouch into the bed, but rather she was in the sitting room with her Bible on her lap. "You welcome, sweetheart," she greeted. "Thank you. I am sorry things were hectic in the office." He lied. "I called the office, but it went into the answering machine and your cell phone. It was also switched off," she said, looking into his eyes. "We were in a meeting and had to switch off." He lied again, keeping his eyes from meeting hers. "Why were you calling?" he managed to say. "Katrina's birthday was today and I wanted you to at least join us in celebrating her," she said, still searching his eyes. "Oh, my goodness. Why did I forget?" He felt like someone gave him a blow. Katrina had always been the reason he came home early, because she loved to play with him before bedtime, but he had sacrificed everything for his current position, a position he had admired so much over the years. And when Mike Rowland committed suicide, he was happy he got it. The excitement of the position made him plunge his head deep into making his boss happy, but the more he works the busier he got, until Maggie came to ease his burden and created a bigger problem. He sighed. Becky could see that her husband was avoiding her eyes like a man guilty of a crime, but she said nothing further than that he should try to make time for her, to which he agreed, and she went to warm his food. All through the night, Charles could not sleep. How could he do such a terrible thing to his wife and his daughter? He suddenly did not feel the desires he had for Maggie any longer. What had led him to it in the first place? Why did he do it? All those questions kept his mind busy that he did not know when he fell asleep.